the Georgian period typically ends around the 1780s. Okay, and so the federal period, okay, or neoclassicism, okay, starts, right after that time. Now, in England, it's a little bit different than America because
America's getting inspired by England.
Yes, exactly. So there's a delay. Okay, so the federal period typically starts after the American Revolution, 1780s to about 1820. Okay, so that's context. So it was Georgian until the American Revolution, federal until about 1820. Okay, so there's your context. Where was the first White House?
Oh, I know this one. Pennsylvania.
I didn't know.
Philadelphia, right? Was it New York?
Yes.
Okay.
It was New York.
Because the hub started in New York, then went to Pennsylvania, then went to D.C.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So good, Jackson. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the
I'm so competitive, Richard. I'm like, suck it.
So realize that DC wasn't a city, right? DC wasn't even there until they voted it and made it. Okay, and so most of the activity, economic and otherwise, was happening in New York, but they didn't want to have the capital so far out of the middle of the country, and so they came down to Philadelphia, and then they voted for it to be in DC. So and DC was basically swampland. Okay, there wasn't anything there when they decided to do it. So when was the White House built?
It definitely was after 1820s because that was the end of the federal era. So 1850s.
You're so wrong. I mean, the gusto that you answered that question was just...
You said it's not federal. You said it's not.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
what? He said
it
federal.
Is federal then?
He was right.
He was right.
No.
I was thinking 1821.
We're tied then.
You said, is it federal because it's a federal building? Okay.
No, he just said federal.
I was thinking
my answer was
federal
federal,
in more like a governmental building. It's not federal. Okay?
Oh, I thought I had it.
The answer is not federal. Let me just say that. I just thought you were saying federal because it was like a governmental building.
Well, that was my logic. Was like, well, it's federal, like Federal Express.
Oh my gosh! So
you just want to embarrass us. Just admit it.
No. You're just proving.
Oh,
you're
I
the master.
know. Yes, no, I'm putting you in your place. So the first president's house. Obviously, when it was in New York, wasn't called the White House. It's called the White House.
It was a White House.
It's a White House, right? And so it was first in New York, and then it went to Philadelphia, as Jackson said, and then it went to D.C. But the year that it was started being built was 1791, not 1850.
But so it was.
That was close. 50
It
years.
was built
Give
during
or take half a century.
in a federal period.
Yes, it was. It was built during a neoclassical period. Okay, now the architect was this guy named James Hoban. So we're going back to the first question.
I did not know that.
Okay, it was a guy named James Hoban who was an Irish architect. Okay, now the things that he was studying, the things that he was looking back, and here's that delay. Okay, is that it ended up being a very classical building, a Georgian Palladian kind of layout and kind of style, because those are the books that he was looking at. And basically, Thomas Jefferson, wanted to have when they were trying to figure out how they were going to build the great city of our capital, they opened it up to competitions. And so the competition was for the White House. There was a competition for the state capitol, and those were the White House was won by an Irish architect named James Hoban, and the state capitol was won by a kind of a doctor.
Did he know it?
Yeah, well, that's who I thought he was thinking of.
No, I was off.
Oh,
so and he was kind of a gentleman architect, and he had won the state capitol competition. And so the James Hoban was the one who designed the thing, and you figure in 1780, the things that he's looking at, into the 1790s were things that were kind of more past style. And so it's this neoclassical, classical building with, Palladian influences?
So the answer is it's like a hybrid.
Yes.